Halloween is coming up, so I thought I'd take a look at a few lesser known horror movies. And first up is this German movie, which is basically a sort of a different take on the zombie genre. Now the text at the very beginning gives us the basic backstory here, and I wouldn't exactly call this information spoilery since it's literally the first thing you learn. But the idea here is that there's been a plague that's wiped out almost everyone. Only 2 cities remain and they both have drastically different takes on how to deal with the problem. One city, where the movie begins, kills everyone who gets infected, but the other city has a less drastic policy and is rumored to work on a cure. However, no one's allowed to leave this city and the surrounding area is very dangerous. Now that's more or less the setup here, and the actual story follows this young woman, who for her own reasons decides to escape and try to make it to this other city. And that's the bulk of the movie, her journey and her attempt to make it across this dangerous terrain. So in a way it's more of a survival movie than anything else, but there's a bit more to it. And while this does contain a lot of the more conventional zombie stuff you'd expect, it actually does try some different things too. It comes up with some more creative angles as well. It brings in some more fantastical elements, things I haven't necessarily seen before, especially in a movie like this, which was definitely unexpected and refreshing. However, I don't think it really worked, because it's all kept very vague and I feel like it leaves a bit too much up for interpretation. Nothing's really explained in detail and you just sort of have to accept it and go with it. And it made that whole aspect of the movie feel a bit half-cooked and not all that fleshed out. I will also say that the general plot and most of what happens in this thing is very bare bones and nothing all that special, nothing we haven't seen before. It's also very clear that they're working with a very limited budget, and they probably did the best they could within that framework. And nothing stood out as being terrible, however a few things here and there could have probably been done better. That being said, I will say that the cinematography was pretty decent for the most part, and there were even a few shots here and there that were really great. But overall, from a technical point of view, this thing was just okay. Nothing managed to blow me away or really impress me all that much. And when it comes to the acting, I thought it was fine. Again, nothing extraordinary, but perfectly fine. So I don't know about this one. It's not awful and it did at least try something very different. However, at the end of the day, I don't think their little experiment really paid off. It's also not a very scary or unsettling movie, and it was actually fairly light on the horror elements. And I just didn't find the general story here to be all that compelling. And part of that was probably the character motivations, because a lot of the movie actually focuses on the protagonist's inner struggles and her reasons for wanting to leave and what she's actually pursuing. But for whatever reason, that part just didn't really work for me either. It just felt a bit flimsy and wasn't exactly the most robust of reasons to do what she did. And therefore I didn't really care for the main character very much. And as a result, this whole movie ended up falling a bit flat. Now I do have to commend it for at least trying something different. But sometimes it just doesn't work out, like in this case. However, would I recommend this? Not really, it's just sorta whatever. So you can probably skip it, or don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.